सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। We'll chant chapter 3 verses 5 to 10.
नहि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत् कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वप्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते। यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते। नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः। यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर। सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एष वो स्विष्टकामधुक्।
So far the thought flow, just before we start today's session, the thought flow is that Arjuna succumbed to his emotions in the first chapter of the Gita, and then he said, I will not fight. I will not fight against my own Guru, great grandfather. Then Sri Krishna pierced him with powerful words, expressing his disagreement. And then Arjuna realized that he actually has succumbed to his emotions. He should learn as to what is the right thing in the context, what he should do. He surrendered to Sri Krishna and said, I am your student now. Please teach me the knowledge. Please give me the knowledge. What is good for me, please tell me. And then Sri Krishna gave him the knowledge. He analyzed beautifully, saying, the problem for our suffering is ignorance of our true nature, and the ignorance leads to confusion. As a result, we identify ourselves with this body-mind intellect complex, and then since we feel this limitation, which is imaginary, there is thoughts going from us to the world outside to feel complete, which is desires, right? And we are going on trying to fulfill the desire, and we get caught in this trap. So therefore, you should know your true self. And he gave the knowledge. Once you gain the knowledge of your true self, then there won't be any agitation, there won't be any problem. You will be above all problems. And then he did talk about implementing this knowledge on a practical level, where he mentioned Karma Yoga in brief in the previous chapter, which is chapter 2. The very famous shloka, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma bhaleshu kadachana ma karma phala yeturboho mate samgostva karmadi. That is there in the second chapter. He's already given the Karma Yoga in a nutshell there, right? And then Arjuna asks Sri Krishna to talk about the perfect human being. So in 18 shlokas, Sri Krishna portrays the profile of a perfect human being. Thus the second chapter ends, which is called Jnana Yoga. Now, Sri Krishna has been emphasizing on the knowledge. At the same time, telling Arjuna, act. Act in the context means you have to fight. fight the battle. Because Arjuna is on the battlefield. So he says, you got to do your duty, you got to act, fight. Right? So Arjuna is asking here in the third chapter, straight away the chapter starts with Arjuna's question to Sri Krishna. He says, you seem to be praising knowledge. Right? If you are praising knowledge, why are you then forcing me to do this terrible action? Which is to kill these people. I might as well go and gain the knowledge now. Why waste my time in doing the action? Straight away I can get there. This is his question. For which Sri Krishna says, Lokesmin Divida Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanada Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. For the active people I have given Karma Yoga. For the contemplative people I have given Jnana Yoga. He is saying the path to perfection is only one path, but it has two parts to it. The first part is when you are having too many desires, you are more prone to action. Sorry. So you got to act in the world. You got to act in the world, and then your mind will become more calm if you do the action correctly. As a result, you will be able to gain the knowledge. In other words, you have to gain jnana yogyata. Means what? You got to qualify to gain the knowledge. See, this lecture also, we start at 6:45, but we say, please come at 6:15, we will be playing bhajans. Why do we say that? You would be busy in your work throughout the day. Your mind would be so much caught up in your balance sheets and this and that. So, you come half an hour before, settle down, nicely tuning up with the bhajans and all that, then you will be ready to absorb the knowledge. Are you with me? One needs to be qualified. If you sprinkle water on a hot plate, what will happen? It will evaporate. It won't absorb. So we are so busy throughout the day, our mind is so disturbed. If you come running and sitting here, it will take 10-15 minutes for you to absorb. You understand? That's why we do this. Are you with me? We need to create the mind to absorb. So one needs to qualify to absorb the knowledge. Information we can get anywhere. Like when I am driving my car, I listen, sir. Okay, listen, right? But then, are you in the frame of mind to absorb? Then what happens is your mind has now got the information. You get used to the information. You think I know it. But do you really know it? You don't know. See, one of the examples that we commonly discuss about when we talk about knowledge and wisdom is, you say, I know that potassium cyanide is poisonous. I know that, right? But you are keeping potassium cyanide in a container next to the salt bottle, where you have kept salt. Which means what? You don't know that potassium cyanide is poisonous. Your actions are not replicating your knowledge. You understand? Therefore, you got to become jnana yogyata. You understand? Through action, if you do properly, which is what we call as karma yoga, which he will teach here, then you will qualify for a period of time. You rise. Do you with me? When you rise, then your mind is calm, composed for you to absorb the knowledge. Therefore, he says, Asmin loke dvida nishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yogina. So you fit into the category of active. Therefore, you must act, then qualified to be able to gain the knowledge. This is what he said. Then in verse 4, we have done up to verse number 4 yesterday. So he says, not by abstaining from action does man gain actionlessness, nor by mere renunciation does he attain perfection. In other words, just by dropping your actions, you don't reach actionlessness. Nor by giving up your possessions, you don't become perfect. So perfection and actionlessness is equating them, which is synonyms. So we explained to you yesterday that actionlessness is not to be taken as being inactive. Actionlessness means desirelessness. Desirelessness means thoughtlessness. Thoughtlessness means vasanalessness. Because the chronology of action is what? From vasanas. comes the thoughts. From thoughts come desires. From desires come actions. From actions come vasanas. Like from the seed, the tree comes. From tree, again, seeds come. Right? Therefore, this is the chronology of action. This is the chain in which we are caught. So now if you gain the knowledge, what will happen is vasana, thought, desire, action, but your actions will not produce vasanas. Today, without knowledge, when we are acting, right, our actions are producing vasanas. Why are we spending so much time in studying all these things? To be able to express ourselves without producing vasanas, without producing impressions, which binds us. You understand? Vasanas are the cause for our bondage. This much we have seen. Therefore, when he says actionlessness, means vasanalessness. Here I also explained to you something else, where God plus vasanas or desires equals human beings. And therefore, human beings minus vasanas equals God, or perfection, or actionlessness. So therefore, our focus should not be in dropping the action. Our focus should be in dropping the vasanas. When the vasanas are dropped, you would have risen above action. Also, in the context, little bit deep, if you see, action when he says, he means the doership that is associated with the action. Because yesterday also I said there will be a question that is coming up. If my desires are gone, how will I do the action? So he's not only talking about the action, the karma. Whenever we talk about karma in Vedanta, you are bound by karma only when you do an action with doership. All that is good explained. I'm just giving it as a now, the beginning, right? So what happens is that doership will be gone when the vasanas are gone. It's because of the ignorance I have the doership. In fact, in the second chapter, from verse 11 to 25, when he talks, the beginning, he talks about the nature of Atma. Atma, Anatma, Viveka. The nature of Atma and Anatma. The truth about your real self and the false self. There he explains that Atma is Akarta Abhokta. Atma doesn't do anything. Atma therefore has no enjoyership, which means no papa or punya. For Atma, it's only for a person who thinks he or she is doing, the doer. Then he will gain papa or punya. Are you with me? So therefore, it's due to the vasanas we think we are the doer. As a result, we do actions with the doership, which gathers more vasanas. So ignorance leads to ignorance. So knowledge burns the wrong understanding that I am the doer, because Atma, in an example, we equate it to petrol in a car. Petrol in a car. No car can move without petrol. Whether it is Maruti 800 or Mercedes S500. It cannot move without petrol. Petrol, when I say diesel, whatever fuel, right? So it cannot move. Without petrol, no car can move. Yet petrol has no desire to go or not to go. To do to move or not to move. You go and ask petrol, would you like to go to this evening session? There is no response. Petrol has no desire to go or not to go. Yet car cannot move without petrol. Number 1 point. Number 2 point, the performance of the car depends on who said petrol. All of you stand up on the bench. Performance of the car depends on the engine. What you are saying? Isn't it? See, S500 is also fueled from the same station. 800 Maruti is also fueled from the same station. Performance is same or what? Same petrol. Right? This engine is different capacity. That engine capacity is different. So the engine. Okay. Then the car meeting with an accident or reaching the destination safely, that depends upon the driver. You understand? Not petrol. You reach the house safely. You open the petrol tank and say, thank you very much. You don't say that, right? You meet with an accident, then you say, file a case against petrol. You're not going to say that. But yet, without petrol, the car would have not met with an accident or reached the destination safely. Now draw the parallel. I said petrol is equated to Atma. So without Atma, no action is possible. Because per se our body, mind, intellect is what? Per se our body, mind, intellect is insentient. What lends sentiency into that is Atma. But Atma has no desire to do or not to do. You ask Atma, do you want to conduct this Gita class? No response. Okay, you don't want to conduct Gita class? No response. Yet without Atma, I won't be able to talk now. You won't be able to hear now. Understand? Number one point. The performance of the person depends upon the mind, the engine. Okay. And living safely, enjoying without meeting with accidents, meaning facing karma and all that, depends upon intellect, the buddhi. Are you with me? So therefore Atma is not the doer. And when you gain this knowledge and don't do any action as a doer, there is no enjoyership. When there is no doership, there is no enjoyership. Which means what? No path, no punya. Okay, this is how it goes. Are you with me? So when he strictly says, there is no vasana, no thought, no desire, no action, you may get a doubt, desire, nahi to kaisa kaam karenge. What it means is, the doership is not there. The nature expresses. We'll explain this as we proceed further. Right? So therefore, it won't create more vasanas thereafter, even if you are functioning, because the doership is removed. Now, we'll get on to shloka number 5.
Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karma krit karyate yavasha karma sarva prakriti jai gunaihi.
Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit karyate hyavashat karma sarva prakriti jayagunai. This is also very famous oft-quoted shloka. None can remain even for a moment inactive, without action. None can remain inactive even for a moment. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit karyate hyavashat karma sarva prakriti jayagunahi. Prakriti means nature of a person, nature. He says, all are made to act helplessly, indeed, by the qualities born of Prakriti. Right? Even now I am doing this, somebody is doing this, somebody is doing this. Something or other we are doing. Either you are shifting your leg from this side to this side, or you are lying down like this. You understand? Something or other we are doing. We cannot remain even for a moment inactive. Action is the insignia of life. Inaction is death. We even discussed an example of a river. Water is constantly flowing in river. Therefore, the water is fresh. You can produce energy. You understand? Whereas in pond, the water is stagnant. The water evaporates, and then fishes and everything dies. Foul smell. There is no action, no life. Are you with me? So therefore, he said, nobody can remain without action even for a moment. So obviously, Sri Krishna, when he is talking, he is not talking about inaction at all. He is talking about dropping the doership. Remember that. In the first chapter, what did Arjuna do? He said, I will not fight. Which means what? He is not acting. But is there doership there or not? May, nai, karunga, whatever that it is. Right? I will not do. I will not do means doership is there. So with the doership, if you don't do action also, there is karma. With the doership, if you do action also, there is karma. All that Sri Krishna is saying is gain the knowledge, drop the doership. This has been misunderstood. Is this clear? Right? So he says nobody can remain even for a moment without action. You got to act. Therefore, he says, all are made to act helplessly, according to vasanas. Isn't it? Slowly you will see. The whole night, if you go after 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, there is no traffic, nothing. Then slowly in the morning, as people start waking up, slowly cars keep coming one by one, and then there is traffic jam and all that. What is happening? Vasanas are coming up, they are all going according to their vasanas. Isn't it? Everybody is going according to their vasanas. That's what he's saying. None can ever remain without action even for a moment. So you should never contemplate inaction. If you are contemplating inaction, means you have not understood this knowledge whatsoever. Are you with me? So he says, all are made to act helplessly by the nature. If you are not doing anything, at least you will be biting the nails. Something or the other you will be doing helplessly. Helplessly means by the force of the vasanas. It will be making you think like that and you will be doing. Indeed, by the qualities born of Prakriti, nature, means vasanas. Next.
Karmendriyani samyamya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma vidyacharasya uchyate.
Karmendriyani samyamya. Karma indriya. Indriya means senses. Karmendriya means organs of action. We have two sets of senses, organs of perception and organs of action. Organs of perceptions are called as what? Jnanendriyas. Right? And the organs through which we do the action, they are called as organs of action. Karma indriyas. Right? And why organs of perception are called as jnanendriyas? Supposing you say, I don't know what a mobile phone is. Then I show you a mobile phone and say, this is the mobile phone. With this you can do all these things. You are seeing, through that you are gaining the knowledge of mobile phone. It gives you jnana. Do you with me? Therefore it's called jnanendriya. Right? Now with the organs of action you are doing action. Right? So with my hands I am acting, with my legs I am acting, with my mouth I am acting, I am giving speech. So all these are organs of action. Are you with me? So he says, Karmendriyani samyamya. Samyamya means controlling. Right? So he who restraining the organs of action, yaha, whoever, one fellow, whoever, sits down, restraining the organs of action. Means what? Leave letter likhe, garpe bete. That's it. He is not going to work. That's what it means. He who restraining the organs of action sits mentally, sitting at home, what will he do? Sits mentally indulging in the sense objects. Are you with me? Ya aste manasasmaran indriyata. Indriyata means indriya vishya, the sense objects. Are you with me? So sitting at home doing what? Thinking about thinking about objects of senses. Color and form for the eyes, smell for the nose, taste for the tongue, touch for the skin, sound for the ears. He is thinking about it. Isn't it? Shall I switch on Netflix or Hotstar or whatever? Whatever he wants to indulge in, or shall I go to that party? He is only thinking about the world. Are you with me? So he who restraining the organs of action sits mentally indulging in the sense objects, he of deluded understanding. Vimudatma. Muda means deluded. Vimuda means number one in delusion. Best fellow in being deluded. He says, he of deluded understanding, Vimudatma, Mithyachara. Very powerful word Sri Krishna uses. Mithyachara means hypocrite. Hypocrite, he says, is called a hypocrite. Sa uchyate. Mithyachara sa uchyate. He who restraining the organs of action sits mentally indulging in sense objects, he of deluded understanding is called a hypocrite. See what he is saying is, you have the desire. Where is that desire? Where is the desire? Inside you. Right? Inside you there is desire. Outside the object is there. Right? You got to act get that. Then at least you will fulfill the desire. Right? But now, you are not acting to fulfill the desire, but mentally ruminating over that object. Now when you mentally ruminate over that object, have you got the object? Are you going to increase your desires or not? You will be increasing more desires. Has it helped you spiritually? Because spiritual means reducing desires. Remember this. Spiritual means reducing desires, isn't it? Man minus desires is equal to God. Reducing. But what you are doing? You are increasing. So how sitting doing nothing is going to help you? Be with me. So therefore he says, Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasasmaran indriyatma. Vimudhatma is a fool. Mityachara sa uchyate. He is said to be a hypocrite. Why? Because he said, I am not interested in all these things. I am not doing anything. But mentally he keeps on thinking about it. Now spiritually he is not helping himself. Is he helping himself materially? At least the fellows who get up in the morning, if you go to the cities which are very active, like Mumbai, New York, wherever you go, they get up so early and there is traffic jam early in the morning, they are going to work, high productivity. You understand? At least those fellows, they are chasing their desires. Are you with me? Because they are following Karma Yoga and all that you forget. But they are chasing their desire, they are increasing their productivity, they may be increasing their vasanas, all that is fine. But at least they are enjoying their objects. You are not enjoying the objects also. You are not materially fulfilling your desires. Nor are you spiritually evolving. Are you not a PhD in delusion? That is what he is saying. Mityacharasa uchyate. He is a fool, he is an idiot, he is a hypocrite. He is fooling himself. He is fooling himself. So now, supposing, like we discussed, you chase your desires. What happens? When you chase your desires, what happens? You are doing it as a karta, the doer, and you are chasing the desire. So what happens? You fulfill more desires, more you crave. More you fulfill, more you crave. So you are not evolving spiritually. And materially also, though you acquire a lot of objects, but you remain discontented. There also you are not succeeding. So now what do I do? If I indulge in my desires, again problem. If I don't indulge, again problem. What is this? Swamiji says, somebody wrote a letter to him. I was a very happy man until I met you. Until I came to Bhagavad Gita class, I was a very happy man. If only you heard up to verse 6. So he knows. Therefore he gives the answer to this in verse number 7. Let's get on to that.
Yasvindriyani manasa niyamyarapate juna karmendriyai karmayogam asaktas vishishyate.
Niyamya. He says, he who restraining the senses by the mind. Mind here means intellect. Buddhi. See the word mind. In one of the sessions he explained. Generally when you say mind, it can mean mind or intellect. But specifically, mind means indiscriminate thought flow. Intellect means discriminate thought flow. Okay? But sometimes the word mind is used to mean buddhi. Soch ke kaam karna, bas itna hai. So he says, but he who restraining the senses by the mind. How? We also talked about sense control. Whenever we talk about sense control, it should not be understood as sense denial. It should be understood as what? I said, lending purpose to sense contact. Lending purpose to sense contact. Now, if I contact this, is it helpful to my goal or not? Or is it going to drain my energy? Okay. Is it going to drain my energy? Say for example, you are a person who goes for a party maybe once in a week, Saturday night or Friday night, let's say. right? You go sleep late, 2 o'clock, whatever, and then next day you have to sleep a little more, and maybe till 11, 12 you sleep. The day goes like that. But let's say on a particular Saturday, you have a very important meeting, business related meeting, which you have at 9 o'clock in the morning or 9:30 in the morning. Previous night, again, that is Friday night, if you go for a party, you don't have sense control. You get it? You say, yeah, listen, this week I will not go. Or even if I go, I'll come back home by 10 o'clock and sleep. Are you with me? Why? I am lending purpose to my contact. Without purpose, if I simply withdraw, that again is done by the mind. That is not sense control. That is sense denial. Are you with me? So he says, restraining the senses by the buddhi mind, thinking, O Arjuna, right, engages his organs of action in the yoga of action. Karmendriya, karma yoga. He says, you got to let your organs of action function in karma yoga. How? Asakta. Beautifully he puts it. Asakta means without attachment. Now attachment means what? Attachment to what? To the result, to the fruit. You understand? Without attachment, do it as karma yoga. See, remember this. Whenever we talk about karma yoga, an action becomes yoga when you do it with arpana bhav and prasada buddhi. Arpana bhav and prasada buddhi. Arpana bhav means you are dedicating it for a higher purpose. You understand? I am dedicating it for a higher purpose, not for my personal things. There may be things I get for my personal, but those are all byproducts. Those are not my main focus. Are you with me? Arpana bhav. And whatever comes out of such an action, I take it as prasad. Gift from the total Bhagavan. If you have this, then you are doing karma yoga. You understand? So what he's saying is, without attachment, you got to perform. Then he excels, he says. He excels. So what he's explaining here is, your actions should be dedicated towards the higher goal. The highest goal is Brahman, God. Not all of us can conceive of that. So fix a higher goal, something beyond your selfish, self-centered interest, and direct your actions towards that. Are you with me? Karmendriyai, karma yogam. So your organs of action should be employed in the action, but not selfish action. In the karma yoga, which means what? Dedicating it for a higher ideal. Are you with me? You dedicate it for a higher ideal. And your intellect is thinking about that only. Right? All the time. Are you with me? Then you are not thinking about, am I going to get this project? Am I going to get a profit from this project? Am I going to fulfill my desire to buy this new car? Am I going to get more money to build a new house? Those things you are not thinking. They may be there. Those desires may be there. But they are not propelling you to do the action. Are you with me? There is nothing wrong. The desires are there. But they are not propelling you to do the action. You are directing your actions to the higher. I have got this education, engineering. I have to give it to the higher. I am giving. And then whatever comes, with that I will fulfill my desires. I may buy a car, I may build a new house. Nothing wrong. As a prasad. Are you getting it? So this is what he means by karma yoga. Employing organs of action in karma yoga. Now what happens when you do like this? Your mind is thinking of the higher, not the lower. Are you with me? This is what we say. When you get attached to the higher, you become detached from the lower. You cannot drop the lower without getting attached to the higher. Now climbing a staircase, if your right foot is firmly placed on the upper rung, only then can you remove the left foot from the lower rung. Otherwise, you will be subjected to law of gravity. Isn't it? So, you firmly place your right foot, then the left foot can be removed and you can keep it on the higher rung and you move up. Are you with me? So you got to consciously get attached to the higher, then you drop the lower vasanas. Number one. So spiritually are you evolving or not? Because vasanas are reducing. So now when we read this, what do we understand? How am I gaining vasanas? This needs to be understood. Right? How vasanas are picked up? How am I gathering impressions, vasanas? By constant, unintelligent, indiscriminate thought flow, I pick up vasana. Mechanically, unintelligently, indiscriminately, I keep on thinking about an object. Slowly, at some point in time, it becomes an impression within me. Are you with me? Then there is thought of that object, then I have this desire for that object, then I can't live without it. Are you with me? Therefore, by constant unintelligent thought flow, I am producing vasanas. So now how do I break that? How do I break that? By conscious intelligent thought flow. Do you with me? By conscious intelligent thought flow. So that conscious intelligent thought flow is Karma Yoga. Consciously, intelligently, you are directing it towards the higher. I'll explain with an example. As I am talking to you, I can play with my mala. Isn't it? I don't have to be conscious. I can play with my mala and then make a knot. Yes or no? Is it possible or not? Right? I can play with my mala and make a knot unconsciously. Correct? Without really focusing. But now if I want to untie the knot, can I do it unconsciously? So I have to now focus and see how many knots are there, what all has happened, which knot I should remove first, then I can remove the knot. Similarly, all of us are caught in bondage. How? Mechanically living, running, unconsciously, unintelligently, going on, thinking. We have developed the vasanas. We have too many vasanas. You have gathered. Are you with me? All done unconsciously. So now what do you do? Start consciously directing your thoughts. Are you with me? That is what he is saying. Restraining your senses from the by the mind, from the sense objects. Instead of going on indulging in the world in your thoughts, give a higher direction, higher purpose to life. Are you with me? Give a higher purpose to your life. And then as you are going on thinking about that, you are going to be dropping vasanas. Are you evolving spiritually or not? God plus desires human being minus desires God. So you are reducing vasanas, so you are evolving spiritually. Number one. Number two, the fact that you are not thinking about whether, while acting you are not thinking about results and all that. You are firmly rooted in the goal, what has to be done for the goal. You are taking care of the process. Will you be materially successful or not? Have you eaten or not? Had some coffee, tea? We'll make some coffee, tea tomorrow and supply us. Answer na? I'm shouting.
Yes.
So materially also you will be evolving, benefiting. Spiritually also you will be benefiting. That's what he says. He excels. This way you excel in life. He said, no, Karma Yoga, excellence in action. How will you excel in action? This is how you will excel in action. Because the greater the ideal, the greater the energy. We discussed all these things when we discussed the power of positive living. The greater the goal, the greater the energy. Just, all the time profit. You are definitely having more energy than a fellow who is not wanting to act. But you really don't have that level of energy. Agree with me? So therefore, the real potential grows up. The profit, everything comes, productivity increases when you pitch yourself on a higher level and function. That's all he says. So now you read this verse. Yes, Indriyani Manasa Niyamya Arabhate Arjuna Karmendriye Karma Yogam Asakta. Remember that word asakta. Not with attachment, without attachment. Right? Without mental attachment. Attachment, whenever you hear this word attachment, means mental. Are you with me? Without mental attachment, if you function like this, Saha Vishishyate. That fellow excels. Next.
नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्धेद कर्मणः.
Niyatam karma, he says. Niyatam means obligatory. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajayohya karmanaha. Sharira yatra. Sharira yatra means we are all traveling in the body, this journey, you know. Sharira yatra api also. Sharira yatra api chate na prasiddhyeda karmanaha. Perform your obligatory action. Obligatory action, when we say niyatam karma, it talks about two. What are they? Nitya karma, naimitika karma. Nitya karma means daily routine obligatory actions. Naimitika means special obligatory actions. Understand? You have an obligatory action. What you are supposed to do. Do that as an obligation. Not do it with the idea of my rights. Understand? With an idea of getting. Do it with an idea of giving. From that time we are born, we are constantly taking from the society. Understand? Oxygen is provided. Are you paying your oxygen bill? You are getting oxygen. There is no oxygen bill. Right? Something happens and then you have to get the oxygen from outside in a cylinder. You pay so much. During Corona and all we saw. Right? You have absolutely no thinking about it. Say, I am getting so much. Isn't it my obligation to give back? Are you with me? So when you understand it, then you will do it as an obligation. Are you with me? So he says, perform your obligatory action, for action is superior to inaction. Action is always better than remaining doing nothing, being inactive. Because being inactive, we already explained, you are only going to increase vasanas, you are also not going to get the material benefit. It's a loss. Rather than that, you do the action. But when you do the action, don't do the action like chicken without head. Do the action with awareness, with knowledge. Are you with me? Therefore, he says, perform your obligatory action, for action is superior to inaction. Then he says, even the maintenance of your body would not be possible by inaction. Any part of your body is not put to use, it will die. Got to constantly exercise. You know, once upon a time, we all used to remember the phone numbers. Isn't it? It happened to me once. I was abroad. I had to call my relative, and I actually for a moment forgot their number. And I didn't have a diary where I had written it. It was, those days. I said, I used to remember this number. Now, it could have not gone anywhere, it must be within me. And I really sat down, said, I'm not going to be in a hurry to find it. I relaxed, and then after 5 minutes, I rang the number, international call, took a chance and rang that number. It was the correct number. So we all used to remember the number once upon a time. But now, sometimes people ask, what is your number? Wait, excuse me, wait. And then we check and then we tell. Even our number we forget. We don't know. Isn't it? So, because we are not putting that to use, it's gone. Slowly, slowly we are losing all the capacities. See, we say we are living in a civilized world. Right? We are living in a civilized world. Now, there is very interesting, there's a book by Kenneth Anderson called Man-Eaters. Man-Eater. During British regime here, there was this gentleman called Kenneth Anderson. He's a sharpshooter. He shoots the animals that has turned rogue. If a tiger has turned into a man-eater, after making sure only he'll kill. Otherwise he'll not kill. He loves animals. But of course the tiger has turned into a man-eater and it's killing a lot of human beings here and there. So he's called. So he'll make sure and then he'll kill. Right? Once he was called to kill an elephant somewhere. So he thought elephant is a huge animal. Must be very easy. But he says that was a very difficult task for him. You know why? Elephant has the capacity to sense a human being few meters or miles away or kilometers away. 1 kilometer before or something like that. So he found it very difficult cases. You understand? So like that even we have had capacities. We had capacities. When we were in the jungle. All of us have come from jungle. In the jungle, either you become food or you find food. You may find food or you will become food. Isn't it? So you have to be very alert. Exactly the opposite we are now. Very relaxed. Isn't it? You have to be alert in jungle. So we have tremendous sense capacity. Now what has happened? Everything is provided, taken care of. As a result, what has happened? We have lost those faculties. But we are saying we are all living in civilized world. But losing capacity, how is it civilized? So when we bring in gadgets in our life, if it's making us lose our capacities, that means we are not really knowing how to live. Nothing wrong in gadgets, but not become dependent on them. Right? So he says even the maintenance of your body would not be possible through inaction. You must act. Remember from verse number 4 till 19, he is giving logical reasons as to why one should act. From all different angles he is trying to cover it. Spiritual angle, material angle, survival angle, pata nahi kya kya angle he is trying. Understand? So he says, therefore you should act. Continue.
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर.
He says the world is bound by action other than those performed for the sake of yajna. He is introducing this word called yajna. Very important word, yajna. Right? Even this we call as Gita Jnana Yajna. So he says the world is bound by action other than those performed for yajna. Which means what? Yajna action will not bind you. Bondage means what? I already explained to you. What is bondage? Producing vasanas. I do something, I go back with more impression. I should be reducing the vasanas, but I am increasing. Are you with me? So that means what? I am binding myself more and more and more. See, what do? There is tremendous desires, right? We want to go to this country, that country, but the money we have is very less. We have to pay so many bills. So what? These fellows keep on calling you, bank fellows. Unknown number, suddenly you answer, right? They say, sir, you have been, what do you call this? Loan that has been sanctioned for you. You don't have to submit any document, nothing. Right? And this, that, then you get caught, you get the loan, then the rest of your life you are paying the loan for having to go and see one place. Like that we get caught. You know? Like that we are getting caught all the time. That's what he's saying. The world is bound by action other than those performed for the sake of yajna. O Kaunteya, O Kunti Putra Arjuna, perform action for that sake free from attachment. Beautifully he says. So yajna word means what? Sacrifice. Action that is done in the spirit of service and sacrifice. Which I explained to you. When your attention is upon the higher, you are sacrificing your ego, no? अभी नहीं तो मेरा ego है. गाड़ी चाहिए, घर चाहिए, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, ये सब किस चीज के लिए? मेरा ego के लिए ना? So you understand? So you are sacrificing your ego and working for a larger ideal. Something beyond your selfish, self-centered interest. That is why I told you yesterday, even when you get into Grihastha Ashrama, that is also to get rid of your ego only. If you properly understand. Otherwise, wrongly you will live in Grihastha Ashrama, increasing more and more desires and more ego. If you properly understand and live, Grastha is the stepping stone. Otherwise it will be a stumbling block. Are you getting it? So he says, yajna activity if you do, you will not be bound. If opposite of yajna activity is what? Egocentric, egoistic action. Egocentric, egoistic action, all the time you are thinking about the objects that will cater to your ego. So what happens? You increase more and more vasanas. Are you getting it? Right? That binds you. So if you want to release yourself, you need to focus on the higher. See, please understand this. When we do service, it is more for us than the others. World doesn't require your service or my service. It is not dependent on your service or my service. Right? If Lakshmi Narayan is gone, you think nothing like this will happen in Chandigarh? No yajna will happen? Will happen. Right? If Lakshmi Narayan does it, it's good for him also. Mainly it's good for him. Right? So therefore, the service that we do is for our sake first. That's what Swami Vivekananda beautifully says. You understand? When you serve, you are firstly serving yourself. Service purifies you of all the mala, of all the dirt, of all the impurities. That should be your vow. You understand? So, he says, when you do yajna, you don't get bound. If you don't do in the spirit of yajna, you'll be bound. You remember the law we studied? If you are selfish, you will be agitated. If you are unselfish, you will be happy. This is the law. So that is what he said. All the selfish actions produce vasanas, will be caught. Therefore, you are supposed to do yajna activity. Now, you see, to understand this, I am going to give you this example. In the puja room, you understand? There is an idol, Rama, Lord Rama or Krishna, whomever you have a devotion towards, you have that idol. And you have flowers from the garden, right? And you take the flowers and then you are offering it at the feet of the Lord. How do you offer the flower at the feet of the Lord? You first pick up the flower. It's kept on a plate. You pick up the flower, keeping your fingers going downwards. Right? You pick it up. And then you turn it like this and then drop it at the feet of the Lord. You turn it up and then drop it. You don't shoot it. Sing the sports. Like that, do you do? I don't. I hope you don't do that. Right? What you do? You take it from the plate like this and then you turn it upwards and then you drop it. So what is this symbolizing? Flower has fragrance. Represents vasanas. Okay? The individual, when the attention is turning downwards, picks up vasanas. Are you getting it? When the attention is downward, you are picking up vasanas. Samajh? Then you turn the attention towards the higher. When you turn the attention towards the higher, you drop the vasanas. Bas. All Gita is saying is attention ko turn karo, not drop the action. But you are understanding, Hare Baba Gita will say drop the action. So therefore, until I get grey hair, don't go. That's why somebody advised me also. You also put black hair, otherwise youngsters will not come. So it's okay, not do it. It's such a big headache. As it is a very little here. You understand? So the point is, attention goes down, pick up vasanas. Attention goes up, drop vasanas. Remember that. Are you with me? So you are bound by actions which are performed selfishly. You are free when you do it selflessly, unselfishly. So you want freedom or you want bondage? Freedom. Nobody likes to be told what to do, what not to do. Isn't it? You tell a child, I won't do it. And the child is scared, you beat. You tell the child, don't go and stand there. The child will not go. And when you turn, the child will go there and do this. No, nobody wants to be told what to do, what not to do. Everybody wants to be free. But how to become free? How do I become free? To become free, I need to consciously direct my attention towards the higher. But the sense desires and the objects outside, the mahol, everything is so much conducive for taking my attention towards the lower. That is why we say, first thing in the morning, start by studying. Because the mahol outside is different. So when you study, reflect and get on, then it's okay. So what? I even said late night party is okay, Friday night. Except this Friday. Late night is okay, we finish by right? After that we going to go. So what I mean is that sense control, consciously directed towards the higher. So that's what beautifully says. The world is bound by action other than those performed for the sake of yajna. Yajna in this country means only fire worship. Again there is a symbolism, right? So I explained to you. Right? There's a verse coming. There I will explain it even more. So I'm not getting into that now. So remember this much, you remember. When your attention goes down, you pick up vasanas. Egoistically. If the attention is towards the Bhagavan, you drop the vasanas. See, during Krishna Janmashtami, right? Nowadays people don't do anything. Butter and everything, you are not making. You buy from the shop and you keep and do the puja. But those days they used to do it themselves. Like Ganesh Chaturthi, they make modak themselves. You buy it from the shop. It's okay, right? But now, you say Ganeshji likes modak. Incidentally, you will also like modak. Understand? But what is happening is, that day, you wake up early, previous day only you have bought all the ingredients for making modak. Right? When you go and buy the ingredients for the modak, what is in your head? Ganeshji. Right? Ganeshji is there. And then next day morning you wake up, take bath, and then you start making modak. When you are making modak, what is the thought? Ganeshji. Right? Not how tasty it will be and all that. You're thinking of Ganeshji. And then you are making it, the aroma is coming. You are going through the aroma. But where is the thought? Ganeshji. Right? Then after having made it, what do? You offer it to Ganpatiji, Ganeshji. And then after the puja is over, you take it. Arpana Prasada. So all the time the attention is upon Bhagavan. Not on that. Incidentally you may like it. But where is it? This is what he said in 7. And now everywhere he is only saying Yajna, Yajna. This is what Yajna is. Agree with me? Next.
Saha yajna praja srishma purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam eshavostishta kamadhu.
He says, the Creator, having in the beginning created mankind together with Yajna, said, by this shall you propagate. Let this be the milch cow of your desired objects. See, he is giving it as an Ajna. Ajna means command. Now, for a moment, Krishna is, always he's been identifying with the Atma, but now he's talking as Ishvara, as the Lord. He said, this is the command I have given from the beginning. Right? From the beginning, you have been having this capacity to sacrifice as human beings. Right? No other animals have this capacity. They all follow the instinct, the nature. Right? And they don't create karma for themselves. But as human beings, you must act in the spirit of yajna. Otherwise you will be bound. But unfortunately what happens is, we are the cause of the destruction of this universe, no animals. Isn't it? There are excellent documentaries available in OTT and all that nowadays. It was there earlier in CD, now it's there. Who is the cause of the destruction of this universe? We only, no? Does animal do anything? They don't do anything. They are not saving for the great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren. You understand? They are not thinking from that angle. They are not hoarding, they are not destroying, they are not getting into all that. So, J. Krishnamurti ji says, animals are unconsciously perfect. Human beings are consciously imperfect. He says, animals are unconsciously perfect. They are doing without ego. You understand? No tiger is scheming and planning. That day that deer escaped from me. और उसको मैं somehow I will find it out. उसको somehow wherever it may be, I will find. Is it thinking like that? Just goes, instinct is there, hunts. That's it. Are you with me? That's why you don't say tiger has murdered a deer. Kartritva nahi na. You understand? So he says, human being is created with this capacity to sacrifice. And you have also got the choice to either live like that or selfishly. So majority what we do, we live selfishly and we bind ourselves. Therefore he says, through Vedas, the Ishvara, the Lord. See, I told you that day, when any great master, through meditation has dissolved, meditation means before meditation, karma, bhakti, jnana, yoga, and all that they do, they develop a mental state which helps them to concentrate, meditate. Then they do meditation. Through meditation, they drop the last traces of asanas and they merge with the self. When they merge with the self, what are they? God. All vasanas are God, right? So through them, whatever has come, who's given? God is only given. Are you with me? So therefore we say, these Vedas are not given by human beings. It is given by God. Are you with me? So it is come. Therefore he said, I have given it in the Vedas. And what is the Ajna? By this shall you propagate. This is the milch cow of your desired objects. Which one? Yajna. The capacity to sacrifice. He says this will be your Kamadenu. Milch cow means the Kamadenu which sage Vasishta had. You know the story, no? Yeah. You don't know? See, sage Vasishta had this cow in his ashram called Kamadenu. You have to just say what you want. Kamadenu will supply how much ever you want. Right? Now, in that story, sage Vishwamitra, he was not Vishwamitra at the time, he was king, Kaushik Maharaj. His name was Kaushik Maharaj. He had gone, he was fighting with his enemy on the battlefield. After winning the battle, they were returning back. When they were returning back, they saw Vashishji's ashram. So Vashishji saw them. He said, please all of you come, aram karo, be our guests, then you go. So the king said, okay, and they went in. And they saw the cow supplying them whatever they want. So Vishwamitra, then Kaushik Maharaj said, what is this cow doing here? Please send the cow to me, to the kingdom, so I can take care of the kingdom. Vashishji said, if the cow comes, please take. And the cow wouldn't go. So the entire army fought with the cow and they lost the battle. This is the story, right? And Kaushik Maharaj said, that means the power of a sannyasi, renunciate, is more than the power of a king like me. I will also achieve that. And he took that vow and he did tremendous tapas. He succumbed to his temptations many times, but finally he became a great sage and he was called as Vishwamitra. That's the story. So that cow will be with you. Everything what you want you will get. When you are ready to lose your ego. That cow is all symbolic. You don't go about searching for that cow. Where is that cow? You say, please send me the address. I don't know. But what is that cow? Dropping your ego. That is what he is saying. By this shall you propagate, let this be the milch cow of your desired objects. See, when you drop your ego, everything comes to you. Gets attracted. It's the ego that makes you, what do you call that? People hate what to do. Sometimes, मुझे नहीं बुलाया. अरे यार, everybody is having a party, मुझे नहीं बुलाया. And then you'll be sitting like this, you'll be sitting like this. Everybody is agitated and they're looking at you. You are more agitated. You understand what I'm saying? Everywhere and then what to do? So they, just to keep you in good spirit, something or other they do. What is the thing that is spoiling? Ego. Yes, sir. But on the contrary, you see children, small kids, have no ego. Right? And when the small child is there playing, everybody wants to go play with that child. Child doesn't have any desire, no ego whatsoever. And somebody is buying a chocolate and giving to the child. Child has not asked anything. Child has not asked anything. All that the child has done is lost the ego and has got the complete innocence. Understand? Everything gets attracted. All you need to do is rise above this ego. Everything will be attracted to you, but you will not drop that ego. No, that is the problem. That is a very big problem. So therefore he says, the Creator having in the beginning created mankind together. He's talking in the Vedic Sanskrit here. This is only little, if you are interested in the technicalities, otherwise it doesn't matter. In other words, in the beginning through Veda. See, again and again he wants to say all these are Vedoktam, Shastroktam. It all has the sanction of the Shastra. It's coming from there. Just to tell you, the authority, who is saying? It's coming from there. It's been coming from there, logically explaining. By this shall you propagate. Let this be the milch cow of your desired objects. So in other words, when you drop the ego, you deserve. You get what you deserve, not what you desire. Understand? All the objects of your desires come to you. It's very strange. As long as you are craving, you don't get it. But you drop the craving, you get it. You got to let go. But you won't let go. Why you can't let go? Why it is such a big thing? Because you have got knowledge. When you have got the knowledge, you let go. See, there is a very interesting episode George Bernard Shaw talks about. He is from England, right? West. So he was walking in the farmland, what do you call this, an agricultural land. And in the agricultural land, between two lands, there is a small single file on which only one person can walk at a time. Isn't it? So, George Bernard Shaw was apparently walking from one side to the other. And the opposite direction, one farmer was coming. Okay? And they both came so close, one had to get down now to let the other person walk. And George Bernard Shaw said, it seems, I don't give way to fools. He said, I don't give way to fools. And that farmer said, I am not like that. And he got down. I am not like that, and he got down. And George Bernard Shaw says, I learned a lot on that day. Just, who's learned? He is learned, but actually he let it go. You understand? We don't let go. You say that, whole body shakes. I will not leave that fellow. Ego. And you want everything. How will it come? It won't come. Just become a child. See, here again we need to understand. Not becoming childish, becoming childlike. We are behaving childish. You called him first. You looked at that direction. Then by the way you called me. Now what do I do? Now everywhere I am looking like it. Because it should not be seen that I am looking in one direction. No? So in the whole function I am looking like this. The whole mahal gets agitated. Are you with me? Just drop the ego. Ego is going on, showing its presence, making its presence known. Wherever something or other that fellow will do, and it makes its presence known. You understand? Why? See, any part of your body, when it is making its presence known, what does it mean? It means there is something wrong in that part. Supposing there is some pain here, as I am talking, every now and then I will be doing this. Now there is no pain, I am not doing anything because it is not making its presence known. So this ego in some form or the other going on doing, it's a weakness. It's coming because you don't have that knowledge. Are you with me? You don't enjoy, you don't allow others to enjoy, create a problem. So therefore he says, let this be the milch cow. You drop the ego and see how everything comes to you. When Moses was walking up the hill, mountain, a snake appeared in front of him. And there was a voice of God saying, hold it, grab it, grab it. He was getting scared, he was not grabbing it. And then he got courage and grabbed it. And it became the famous staff of Moses with which he performed all miracles. So that is what he's saying. All these stories it's saying only one thing. That snake is the poisonous, venomous ego. Usko pakado. You understand? If you catch hold of that, nothing is impossible. Everything will be at your doorstep. That is the milch cup. Continue. Verse 11.
When you said desired objects or deserved objects?
No, the desired objects will come to you because you deserve. That's what it is. Yes, 11.
देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यत.
Nourish the gods with this and may those gods nourish you. Nourishing one another, you shall attain the supreme good. See, Deva is the word that is used, gods in plural. First of all, in Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, it doesn't propagate pluralistic gods. You understand? There is only one God. In fact, if you go a little deep, there is only God. There is nothing else. You understand? Emerson also says, every man is God playing fool. Right? God in one form is the speaker. God in another form is all the listeners, audience. You understand? So, it is God playing fool, disguising himself or herself or itself in various forms. We sing one bhajan also now. Govinda Rama Jai Jai Gopala Rama Ekatu Rama Jai Jai Anekatu Rama Ekatu Rama Jai Jai Anekatu Rama Govinda Rama Jai Jai Gopala Rama. Beautiful bhajan it is. So, it is one God only that has become this universe. So, everything is nothing but God. So, therefore, it is not saying only one God, it is saying only God. Okay. Now, if that be the case, then he is saying gods in plural. What he means is, the idea is what? The idea is to turn the attention from the mundane to the sublime. So, yeah, we've been discussing that only. So, instead of telling turn the mind to the sublime, wherever the mind is going, sublime ko plant karo. Mind is going to money, Goddess Lakshmi. Mind is going to power, Goddess Durga. Mind is going to knowledge, Goddess Saraswati. Wherever the mind is going, we have planted God. So in that sense, we have too many gods. So the entire manifestation is nothing but divinity. So all different manifestations are considered as various gods. Are you with me? Is that clear? So there is no gods means special God. Okay, this God, that God. Don't get confused like that. So what he's saying is nourish the gods. Means what? Do it in the spirit of offering to Bhagavan. Because when you are working towards that, you are actually doing it to ultimate Brahman, God. Are you with me? So when he says nourish the gods, what it actually means is you are worshipping, you are converting work into worship. So your work is converted into worship. Nourish the gods. Do in this spirit. Then what happens? Gods will nourish you. The laws will take care. You understand? If you function like that. So nourishing one another, you shall attain supreme good. What did he ask? Arjuna, Shreya, Shreya, Shreya. What is Sri Krishna saying here? You will get Shreya, supreme good. How? When you nourish gods, not nourish your ego. Is this clear? Nourishing the divinity within, not the ego. Thus, nourishing one another, you shall attain supreme good. Now, let's chant verse 12. We'll do two more slokas today.
Ishtan bhogani vo devaha dasyante yajna bhavitaha taidattana pradayaivyaha yo bhunte stena eva saha.
See, every human being's mind is made up of three temperaments: sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Sattva means serene, balanced, composed mind. Rajas means restless, passionate, desirous, greedy, result-oriented mind. Tamas means lazy, lethargic, inert, inertia. This is that kind of mind, tamas. So he is saying how these tamasic, rajasic, sattvic persons approach action. In 12 and 13 he explains. He says, verily, he is continuing from where he left. He says, verily the gods nourished by sacrifice will give you the desired enjoyments. You will get, don't worry. See, the problem is worry. I am doing, if Bhagwan bhul gaya, result nahi aaya, that doesn't happen there. It happens only here. You understand? So therefore he says, you will definitely get the results. If the gods are nourished, you will get the results. Which is what Madam asked. Which means what? You deserve. When you deserve, you will not be denied. That's what he's saying. You get what you deserve, not what you desire. The fact that you are done it as a yajna, you deserve, and it will come to you for sure, 100%. Okay. Then he says, you will get the desired enjoyment. Then he says, he who enjoys what is given by them means the totality. See, we have got oxygen, we are getting everything. Gravitational force is functioning. That is why this class can be conducted. All of us will be floating here and there. Right? Everything is provided by the nature. So he says, he who enjoys what is given by them without having offered to them is indeed a thief. Stena eva saha. Eating without producing. Which means without contributing you are taking. Agree with me? You are taking from the society without contributing. If you have that mentality, what is that mentality? Tamas. I will not do anything, but every month few lakhs should be deposited in my bank. But nothing I will do. Are you with me? So therefore he says, such an attitude if you have, which is tamasic, you are like a thief. Now thief fellow, he goes and steals somebody else's hard-earned money, na? Isn't it? At night. And do you think in the morning he is sleeping happily? He can't sleep happily. He'll have to keep on changing his address. You saw that movie, Leonardo DiCaprio's movie? What is that? Catch Me If You Can. Huh? Goes on changing address and he has to keep on disguising himself. It's a very pathetic life a thief lives. Isn't it? Not that he lives happily. He may be coming and stealing at night, but morning is not sleeping, evening is not sleeping, going through a terrible life. That will be the life of a tamasic fellow. Now what is the life of rajasic and sattvic? Next shloka.
Yajna shishtashinas santaha muchyante sarva kilvishaihi bhunjate te dvaham papaha ye pachantyatma karanat.
The righteous who eat the remnants of sacrifice are freed from all sins. He's talking about sattvic. But those sinners who cook for their own sake eat sin, rajasic. The second part of the shloka is talking about rajasic. The first part is talking about sattvic. We will first talk the second part. He says, those sinners, sin in Vedanta when we say means agitation. Remember that. When you do an action, it comes back and agitates you, you committed a sin. Are you with me? So those sinners mean those who have agitations in their head. Who cook? Cook means they do action. Who cook? But for what sake? Their own sake. Not yajna. For their own sake. They eat sin. So they are going on functioning selfishly. They are going on getting agitated. Are you with me? So this is what a rajasic person does. He does actions, he accumulates, but he is only expanding horizontally. He is swelling, not growing. समझ रहे ना? So he is only, what is happening is, जितना भी मिला, it's not enough. Not enough. Not enough. It could not beat the inflation to buy that. You understand? All that time agitated. Rajasic. That's what he's saying. He cooks but eats sin. What is the sattvic fellow? He says, they who are righteous, dharmic, who follow the law, order that I spoke about, yajna, who eat the remnants of sacrifice. Means what? After doing yajna activity, The remains they eat. Which is what I said, prasad. The bhav. Are you with me? Remnants of sacrifice. As a result, what happens? They are peaceful. Vasanas is reduced. They are productive also. They are enjoying the world also. Vasanas are also reduced. They are happily eating the pillow and sleeping in 5 seconds. That's what he's saying. So, sattvic person eat the remnants of sacrifice. Rajasic person cooks but eats sin. Tamasic fellow eats without producing. So, what we learn in this? What do we learn in this? Our contribution should be more than our consumption. Our contribution should be more than our consumption. Rajasic person, sattvic person will do like this. Rajasic person, consumption and contribution cancels out. Or slightly contribution is less than consumption. But tamasic fellow, only consumption, no contribution. So if you can understand this in life, you should be contributing more than consumption. That is why in this country we worship bull. Bull works on this principle. What does the bull do? It takes very little fodder, but the whole day it's working, contributing. Understand? More contribution, less consumption. Therefore we worship bull. That is what he is teaching here. We'll meet next week, tomorrow. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.